Welcome to the National Heads Up Poker Championship presented by Full Tilt Poker.
To win the single elimination tournament, competitors have to conquer 6 opponents in one of the toughest fields we've ever seen. The 16 players in the hearts bracket are anxious to take on challenge number 1. Jesper Hogo faces Alan Cunningham. Brock Parker meets the legend Doyle Brunson. High-stakes poker hostess Kara Scott takes on Dennis Phillips. At table 4, we have J.P. Kelly and Don the Iron Man Cheadle. Elia Lesra challenges Greg Mueller. Annette Oberstad and Cy Young Award winner Oral Hershiser. Online qualifier Annette Dvorsky faces 2008 heads-up champ Chris Jesus Ferguson. And at our feature table, 2 titans of the poker world take the stage as the professor. Howard Lederer goes to school against the poker brat himself, Phil Hellmuth. Howard, you're known as being a nice guy at the table. Phil has a better record here at Heads Up. Are you going to have to start talking some smack to maybe beat him here?
Doesn't everyone have a better record than me, except for Eric Seidel, I guess?
Oh, you needled him again.
Well, let's talk about you. This is all about you guys here. 2005, you were the first champ here. Haven't had such a good track record since then. What are you going to do to beat Howard today and move on?
I'm still like 12-3. I mean, you know, it's not
Pretty
too
good.
bad. I mean,
True. But are you going to be the first 2-time champ?
I really would like to be, but I mean, you know, first I have to worry about him. He
Yeah.
requires all my energy and all my, you know, and all of my like focus. So.
All right. Well, I'll let you focus your energy right now. Good luck, gentlemen. Let's get the cards in the air.
Craig Ummer alongside Ali Najad as we get underway in the hearts bracket.
That's classic Bub right there. The triple stack, you know that, right?
These aren't triples, but these are very
classic.
moderate.
You always have like the triangle.
Oh,
It's
the
classic
triangle,
Bub,
yeah.
And apparently it's classic Hellmuth to overstate your National Heads Up Poker Championship record. He's actually 9-3, not 12-3.
Howard with King 7.
Oh, it's 153 here. Hold on. I'm not stringing here. How do I do
What
this?
are you trying to do? Call or raise?
I'm trying to raise. There we go.
How much?
I make it 9.
He raises to 900.
9. Wow, that was kind of a weird, stringy.
Well, that's because I was making it
it was
450.
okay.
I was tripling my small blind.
No, it was completely legal. And by the way, I'm on the front here and you're on the front there, so.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
Hellmuth with the only book on earth that has 2 front covers.
I better raise it up just a little bit.
Okay.
Phil with ace tray suited.
2 dimes.
Raises 2,000 on top.
With the re-raise to 2,900.
This is not classic Hellmuth. Generally, he's a small ball player, likes to control the size of the pots.
Don't worry, I have an ace.
Lederer wants no part of it
You had me.
I know.
and folds.
Hellmuth setting the precedent early that he's willing to play back at Howard.
No, I wouldn't fold an ace.
I know.
Not what we generally expect from him.
I should say, I don't think you would fold an ace. You might be setting me up with that. I've seen you do that on camera.
Queen 8 for
6.
Phil. He raises to 600.
600 total.
6-5 for Howard. He calls.
Min raise on the button from Hellmuth.
Lederer flops 2 pair.
Phil doesn't fire the continuation bet in position.
Open-ended straight draw for Hellmuth.
Howard's going to take control of things here, lead right out.
Hellmuth calls 700. River pairs the board, not a card Lederer wants to see.
He would have hated seeing a Hellmuth bet on the end there. He got counterfeited.
In the end, Lederer takes the pot.
Two-pair specialists.
Yeah.
Taking a look now at our tournament bracket and focusing on the hearts portion of the draw. Heads Up No Limit Texas Hold'em Poker and some big-time players on display.
Including Chris Ferguson, who's got a title in this event and 16 total victories, while the remaining 15 players in this flight have just 21 wins combined. Another name to watch for, Annette Oberstad, young European pro, very impressive. She could make waves.
Out at table 4, a familiar face on your right, Academy Award nominee Don Cheadle, taking on J.P. Kelly.
Kelly, the less familiar face, it's his first time in the event. In 2009, he managed to pick up a World Series bracelet in North America and also in Europe. Very few have managed that.
1,400 in the pot. Kelly pairs his ace. Cheadle pairs his 7.
And it looks like Don's going to take the lead here with bottom pair.
Cheadle bets 700. Kelly calls.
Leading looks pretty strong here. No reason for Kelly to put the raise in.
3 on the turn. Kelly's ace is still good.
Bets 1,200.
Cheadle bets 1,200.
And that's a tougher bet than his first here, considering Kelly raised pre-flop and called his bet on the flop.
Kelly calls again.
Things not looking good for Don.
Cheadle with trip 7s on the river.
Gonna be easier to bet now.
He bets $2,000.
That's into a pot of 5,200.
Kelly calls and sees the bad news.
They say good things happen when you're the guy betting. That's gonna leave a sour taste in JP's mouth.
Don Cheadle raking in a big pot there as he looks to advance past the first round for the 3rd time in 4 years. A dynamic collection of characters here in the Hearts bracket. A draw carrying an excess of talent and credentials. 1/4 of the tournament's field in play, each competitor aware of the same unbending reality. Only half can move on to round 2 here at the 2010 National Heads Up Poker Championship. Back inside the poker room, Howard Lederer on the left up against Phil Hellmuth. Blinds at 2 and 400. And he limps in. Jack 7 for Howard.
We saw Hellmuth raise with Queen 8 on the button and now limping with Ace 3, mixing it up.
Lederer out flops Hellmuth. He's got 2 7s. Check, check. The king misses both players on the turn. Lederer still leads.
600.
Hellmuth bets 600. Howard calls.
Told him, I think. I think, wait. Go ahead. That's all right.
Etc. First action. Checks.
3s with an ace.
Deuce, no help to Hellmuth. Lederer takes down the pot.
Why did I say 3s with an ace? Now you know I'm limping with an ace. That was stupid.
I've never seen that play. Now I know that you can limp with an ace in this game. It's allowed.
So the second of 4 brackets already in action. While this field is loaded with top young talent, Ali, a couple of poker's old guard at the feature table. 11-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth and 2-time bracelet winner Howard Lederer.
This one's going to be a real treat. All 11 of Phil Hellmuth's bracelets came in Hold'em events, while neither of Howard Lederer's came in Hold'em events. Phil also, if you'll recall, well, you weren't around back then, but he won the first annual Heads Up Poker Championship, while Howard is sporting a 1-5 record here.
Okay, then let's take a look at this matchup from Howard's perspective. How should the professor approach the poker brat?
Well, I think Howard here needs to take advantage of Phil Hellmuth's desire not to look bad in front of the national television audience. You know how hungry he is. You know how much this means to him. I think Howard's going to exploit that and may get out to an early chip lead. But in the end, Phil Hellmuth is just one guy who wants to win this thing more than anybody else in the field every time he shows up. I think that's going to triumph. Take Phil Hellmuth into the second.
The compliments I could give you. I think you appreciate that statement, don't you, both?
Yeah.
Awkward.
It was
Very
pretty clever, right? Okay, thank you.
Hellmuth with 8 deuce. He mucks.
Wow. I'm going to look.
Lederer gets a rare walk.
You had me dominated.
Really, you had a worse jack.
Had a worse deuce. Might only have to wait 5 years before, right?
I don't know.
9-8 for the professor. He raises to 1,200.
1200 total.
Ace 10 for the poker brat. Rethinking.
Balk.
All right, I better raise it.
Hellmuth announces a re-raise.
Raise. 24.
2,400 more.
We have a re-raise.
Unusual amount of body language there, too, from Phil Hellmuth. I'm used to a more Ferguson-esque-like delivery from him. Not sure what Howard might be reading into there.
There's no way I would do all that talking if I had pocket aces, right? It's impossible.
Seems like it was all by design from Camp Hellmuth there.
Now, don't worry, I had you smoked. The only problem is you might move in with the 5s or 6s.
Lederer not amused. That's the second time he's been re-raised off his pre-flop raise.
Heading back out to table 4, where Don Cheadle has surged into the lead ahead of J.P. Kelly. Blinds now 2 and 400. Cheadle with 6-5. Raises to 1,200.
Before the match, JP told me he expected Don to play very tight. I got news for you, JP. As you see Cheadle raising with 5-6 off suit. Cheadle, meanwhile, just said that he was going to play unpredictably, consistently inconsistent, confusing JP and perhaps even himself in the process.
Kelly pairs his 10 on the flop. Now with 2 pair, he checks. Cheadle bets 1,800.
3/4 the pot as a continuation bet.
Kelly calls.
No reason to check raise and bloat the pot.
Cheadle pairs his 6, but still trails.
Checks. And checks.
Check, check.
Smart check by Don.
King of hearts, Kelly's 2 pairs still good.
JP wouldn't have minded Cheadle betting on the turn. He would have smooth called him yet again. Now that Cheadle's checked behind, he can rest assured his 10 is good. Unless, of course, Don spiked a king.
10 jack.
Cheadle calls and gets the bad news.
Really wasn't a whole lot that Don was going to be able to beat at that point in the hand.
Nice hand.
Can't blame him for calling, though, getting 6-1, and credit to JP Kelly. Good size value bet.
We'll be back with more from Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, and the 2010 National Heads Up Poker Championship. As we return to Caesars Palace, our featured table has Howard Lederer on the left and Phil Hellmuth, 2 veterans who've seen the game change dramatically and have had to learn to adapt.
There's been a huge revolution in poker, and I haven't been paying as close attention until recently to it. Now I need to step my game up to get back on top.
Both Phil and I, in the older days, were able to take advantage of very obvious weaknesses. That was a really important skill. That skill's not so important anymore. Players are so much better.
And the fields are bigger now, and there's more luck, and they're forcing you to gamble.
Because of that, you really have to look for every edge, and you have to be willing to take your coin flips and to play very competitive hands against the other good players.
I wish I could adapt to that music. What was that?
It'll be on the soundtrack. Ace-king suited for Hellmuth.
Raise it.
He announces a raise.
7.
7 on top.
He raises to 1,100.
Playable.
Pocket 10s for the professor.
Uh-oh.
Could be a big uh-oh.
We raise. Sees the 7.
Re-raises to 3,300.
More on top.
Are we headed to where I think we're going, Ali? Is this an all-in situation for Hellmuth?
Sure feels that way. Hellmuth 1.0 might have smooth called. Feels like we got 2.0 on our hands, though.
I'm all in.
We do indeed. Hellmuth puts Lederer all in.
Fire sees.
Notice Howard hasn't snap called. This is a huge re-raise from Phil Hellmuth. Jacks or better are definitely in his range here. And it feels like ace-king suited is about the best Howard could hope to be up against.
I call.
Lederer calls.
All right, let's take a look at the cards.
You got a pair? Sevens or something?
No, much better than that. Sevens. I'm gonna call you a 7.
This is what these two talked about, taking their
2
chances.
tens for Howard Lederer.
Time to break out the
Ace-king
quarter and
hearts
call heads or tails.
for Phil Hellman, who has a slight chip lead.
Yeah.
The professor doing the
comes the
math.
flop.
He's got the best hand, but he knows he's at risk.
Slight favorite heading to the flop.
Hellmuth
King
pairs
high
his
with 2
king.
clubs.
Check that. He's a
Phil
big
Hellman's
dog and in need of
king in
major
front.
help.
Seemed like the 3 of clubs would make it more sporting.
No, 10 of spades.
Oh, let's not do that. They did that to me the year Durr beat me. They turned to 10, but I had aces that hand.
Here's the turn. And it's the
9 of spades on the turn.
You said the 10 of spades. It was a little scary for a second.
Howard needs a 10.
2 outs and
Here's
2
the
outs
river.
only for the professor to stay alive.
And it's another king
Hellmuth
for
fades
Hellman.
the 10, and he moves
On
on
to
to the
round
round of
2.
32.
That's
Meanwhile, Howard's struggles
Good call,
continue
too.
in this event.
really.
He goes to 1 and
Yeah, I think he did,
6.
Back at table 4, where National Heads Up Poker Championship newcomer J.P. Kelly is drawn a little closer to Don Cheadle. He looks at 8-6
-8.
and raises to 800. Jack 10 suited for Cheadle.
Call 8.
He'll call.
Kelly mentioned he wanted to play aggressively against Don. 8-6 offsuit on the button, raising.
Trip 10s for Cheadle. He checks.
Complete air for JP here.
That's 720.
Kelly bets 725.
No reason not to take at least one shot at this pot.
Cheadle raises to 1450.
Min raise on the flop there. No slow play from Don.
JP calls.
He has absolutely nothing. His intentions here, obviously, to try to take this pot away on the turn or river.
King of diamonds on the turn. Kelly's drawing dead. Cheadle checks.
Might be worried about the diamond flush draw.
That's 18.
JP seizing the opportunity now. Just bad timing. Cheadle holding trips isn't going anywhere.
He calls. Kelly pairs his 6. Cheadle's hand still best.
Checks.
Check, check.
Oops.
Hated that turn.
A quarter of Kelly's stack heads Cheadle's way. Let's send it down to Leanne at the feature table.
Phil, congratulations.
Thanks.
Howard, your bad luck continues here at Heads Up. In this tournament, is it as much about luck as it is about skill?
It's such a tough field, you know, and when you're playing heads-up poker, there are going to be some pre-flop situations where you're going to have to take a race, and yes, and then it does become a matter who gets there and who doesn't. So, you know.
All right. Well, good luck next year, Howard. Thank you. Phil, 1 down, 5 to go. Were you happy with the way you played today?
I was very happy with the way I played today. I re-raced him with ace-10, which of course was the nuts. But I mean, we really didn't get started. I mean, you look around and every other match is still going, and I'm known for playing longer matches. Howard's known for playing longer matches, and that's a mark of skill, I think.
Right. All right.
What are you gonna do?
Well, if you get 5 more down, you could be our first 2-time champ here at Heads Up.
Yeah, I feel incredibly positive and great, so I might do it.
All right. Good luck. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good battle, Bob.
When 2 cautious veterans and 2 big hands collide, sometimes it takes Lady Luck to decide the winner.
I was raised in Arlington, Texas.
Shelby Township, Michigan.
Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
Actually, I should probably say Fort Worth.
Bernie, California.
Paramus, New Jersey.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Roma, Italy.
Windsor, Denmark.
Chiang Quang, Laos.
Tehran, Iran.
Stavanger, Norway.
Nha Trang, Vietnam, baby.
New York City.
Victoria, British Columbia.
Dixonville, Alberta.
Toronto, Ontario.
Small town, nothing. Reno, Nevada.
Boulder, Colorado.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Chicago, Illinois.
Roselle, New Jersey. Brooklyn, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
Orange, Connecticut.
Hollywood, Florida.
Kansas City, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Longworth, Texas.
Pacific Palisades, California.
Planet Earth, I don't know.
Puck about covers it. Well, overall, 18 countries of origin represented in the bracket. And at table number 4, it's J.P. Kelly of Great Britain taking on Kansas City native Don Cheadle. Blinds are now 3 and 600. Kelly looks at 10 deuce suited and raises to 1200. Queen 10 suited for Cheadle. He'll call.
And call. He's making North America proud so far. Got the chip lead on the 2-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner.
Flush draw for Kelly.
Nothing doing for Cheadle, who had him dominated pre-flop. And as he's done before, he's betting right into JP when JP was the pre-flop raiser.
Kelly calls. Kelly hits his flush. Cheadle pairs his queen.
What a troublesome card for Don. He's actually made something now.
Don bets 3,500.
He's drawn dead here.
All in.
This is gonna hurt.
Kelly goes all in.
Don's disciplined enough to get away from this. If it looks like a flush and smells like a flush, it probably is a flush, decides Don Cheadle. Good decision to lay it down.
And with that pot, Kelly takes the chip lead from Cheadle. Meanwhile, an all-in and call, qualifier Annette Dworsky on the left with an opportunity to knock out the 2008 National Heads-Up champ, Chris Ferguson.
Not a very good opportunity, though, with Queen 10 offsuit against pocket queens. In trouble heading to the flop.
4-6-6. Ferguson's queen's in great shape to double up.
And Dworsky in really bad shape to all but go bust.
And it's a jack.
Ferguson doubles up and has an almost insurmountable chip lead.
Get the feeling we'll be back to this table pretty quickly.
Another all-in situation, 76-year-old Doyle Brunson carrying the slightest of chip leads over Brock Parker.
For Brock Parker, 8 of hearts, 8 of spades.
Similar to the hand we saw between Howard Lederer and Phil Hellmuth. Pair against 2 overcards.
Queen right in the window.
Brunson pairs his queen.
All black cards.
And again, the 2 overcards connect and leave the pocket pair in bad shape.
Turn pairs the board. 9. Brunson's 2-pair best.
An 8.
Parker's 2 outs. Not done yet, though.
Here's the river.
10 of spades, not the lifeline Parker needed.
Defeating Brock Parker.
Brunson moving on as Parker prepares to exit stage left.
So wait, you won an EPT bracelet, or what is it? What was this?
WSOP.
WSOP, and I thought you won one in Europe too, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. You know they have 4 events. They have 4 events in Europe. Okay. So I won one either side.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
Don Cheadle, obviously known for his acting, but he's also a legitimate poker talent who wants to measure himself against the game's elites.
I think playing with these pros, the most important thing is to take your time. Don't get involved in hands that you're not going to be able to withstand somebody coming back over the top at you. And then when you are involved, really put them to a hard decision. Don't try to see a lot of flops. It's just an opportunity to, sit down across the best players in the world in a format that's really exciting and a lot of fun, and try your skill and hopefully get lucky.
Cheadle's had some memorable success here, Ali, most notably defeating Phil Ivey in the first round back in '07.
It's tempting to think that online qualifiers and celebrity invites to this event don't take it as seriously, but that would be absolutely incorrect. I know Don, for one, definitely enjoys playing the event. Last night he was up late practicing, playing the format, warming up, and he wants to take on the best out there, Craig. He really wants to bring on the big dogs so that he can add feathers to his poker cap as he moves on.
Turn pairs the board. Cheadle's 2-pair in front.
That's 800.
Kelly bets 800. Don calls.
Kelly drawn almost dead. He needs a deuce.
He pairs his 6 on the river, but Cheadle's 2-pair still best.
6s and 5s with a jack kicker for Kelly. Deuce is irrelevant.
Cheadle bets $2,000.
Good value size bet.
Kelly calls. JP realizes he just got taken to Value Town.
This is going to start to get old real quick for JP Kelly. You start to wonder if you're doing something wrong.
A 3-pair.
Oh, nice. Canadian hand.
6 deuce.
Frustrating.
At table 7, Chris Ferguson has Annette Dworsky down to her last
Jack
3,000
offsuit
chips.
for Annette. Queen 3 offsuit for Chris Ferguson.
Dworsky was all but finished after losing that last
Here's the
hand with
flop.
Queen 10 against Chris's 2 queens.
King A6, neither player connects.
She's not looking good to win this one
Here's
either.
the turn.
Needs a jack or a 9.
And it is a 10.
10 of spades gives both players an inside straight draw.
Dworsky
Here's the
trades the
river.
jack out for a queen.
And it's a deuce. Queen
Deuce
high
on the
is
river.
good.
Ferguson
Chris
on to the
Ferguson is
round
on
of
to round
32.
Well played. I thought I was playing against myself. You got the glasses, you got the hat, you got the hair,
I just made
and you got
such
the...
a crazy mistake and ruined it.
So the Godfather advances, as does Jesus.
Welcome back to Caesar's Palace and first round action in the hearts bracket. It was a surprisingly quick match between the veteran pros Howard Lederer and Phil Hellmuth as the poker brats Ace King bested the professor's pocket tens. Now we have a new match at our feature table. Young internet phenom Annette Oberstad has the chip lead over baseball great Oral Hershiser. Let's get back to the action.
Well, we're kind of busy playing poker here, you know?
I forgot.
Yeah. We're not a talk show.
That's true.
It's not what we do. It's not what I do.
Good luck.
Oberstad, all business. She wants to be considered the best female player in the world. She's got the mindset.
If I know Hershiser, he's well aware of those facts, probably done his scouting report, friends with quite a few pros in the Vegas area. And he's taken this event seriously just like Don Cheadle. Originally a celebrity invite, but has proven that he can make a deep run in the event. And a very competitive guy as well. Those baseballs you see lined up next to him, sort of his mobile trophy case signed by all the players that he eliminated in past years in this event.
Hershiser pairs his 6. Check, check.
Annette's got an overlay here. If Hershiser loses, he'll in turn sign a ball and hand it over.
Hershiser now with 2 pair. He checks.
Annette can't resist but reach for chips after having it checked to her twice in position. Not going to win the pot rolling over 8 high most of the time.
Oral raises to 3,000, and Annette folds.
She'd be wise to take note of that particular hand moving forward. Don't expect much of that weak passive play out of that seat.
An all-in and call at table 5. Ellie Lesra on the left with a set of 10s and a good shot to eliminate Greg Mueller.
Not over yet, though. Mueller's got a gut shot straight draw and a spade draw.
Give him a 7 of spade. Oh, he got it.
Deuce of spades. I'm not greedy. I'm not counting anything up, so.
Here is the river. And it is the
Lesra
eight of
avoids the
hearts.
myriad of outs and advances to the next round.
Disappointing exit for the 2-time 09 World Series of Poker bracelet winner, Greg Mueller.
From one all-in to another, Alan Cunningham attempting to put away Dane Jesper Hogo.
For Jesper, ace deuce of hearts for Alan Cunningham.
Allen, a 3-2 favorite heading to the flop.
Here's the flop.
He's got a 3-1 chip lead.
Neither player
And 9,
connects.
6, 4, rainbow, 1 heart, ace high.
Uphill
still leads.
climb for Jesper.
Here's the turn.
Cunningham
10 of
adds the
hearts.
nut flush draw to the best hand. Hogo picks up a gut shot straight draw.
Here's the river.
Any non-heart paint to stay alive.
It's the 9 of
No
diamonds, Alan
Rembrandt on the
Cunningham.
river. Cunningham will move on.
The 5-time bracelet winner is 1 round away from the money.
And at table
take a
3,
look at the
Kara
cards.
Scott all in and hoping for a little help against
has
Dennis
the 2
Phillips.
aces. Kara has the king of clubs, queen of spades.
Thank you. I see you too, but...
The hostess of high-stakes
There
poker
are 2
looking to
overs.
avoid being sent trucking by the man who came in 3rd at the 08 main event.
Here's the flop.
She'll need some help.
Scott
9,
flops
10,
a gut
3.
shot to go with her 2 overs.
Rainbow,
No face cards.
2 8 still in
Anything but
front.
face cards.
Another praying for paint situation.
You can put a couple
Here's
of
the
aces.
turn.
You can do all sorts of things out there.
Sitting here in a jacket is real nice right
Trey on the
There's the
turn
board.
changes
Two
nothing.
eights still
Scott
ahead.
still trails Dennis's pocket 8s.
Jack, queen, or king for Kara Scott.
She's
Not
got
Dennis
1
Phillips.
pull at the deck to double up and stay alive.
Here's the river. And
6 of
it's
spades. Dennis Phillips advances.
on round 2.
On behalf of the deck, I'd like to apologize to the 18 to 34 male demographic. Tough beat. So Ellie Alezra gets past Greg Mueller. Alan Cunningham emerges victorious. And Dennis Phillips rounds out the next group into the round of 32.
The players in the hearts bracket must have somewhere to be because the bust-outs are coming left and right. Alan Cunningham took out Jesper Hogo. Ellie Alezra got by Greg Mueller. Chris Ferguson defeated qualifier Annette Dvorsky. Dennis Phillips outlasted Kara Scott. Doyle Brunson beat Brock Parker. And Phil, the poker Brad Helmuth, bested Howard Lederer. Now let's get back to our feature table as Annette Oberstad currently has the lead over Oral Hershiser.
Oberstad up by almost 4,000 chips. Blinds now 4 and 800. Ali, how about these nicknames in this match? The Huntress versus the Bulldog.
The Bulldog I totally understand. The Huntress I'm having a little trouble with. I think it's a touch ambitious. We might want to go back to the drawing board with that one.
Our GoDaddy.com pocket cam shows Oberstad with 10-6. She raises to 1,600. Hershiser with pocket fives.
Nichols.
I'm gonna call.
He calls.
See how Hershiser plays this out of position.
Call 16, the first action.
Annette now with 2 pair. Oral checks.
3 overcards on the board. No reason to get frisky.
Oberstad bets 2150.
2,150.
And Hershiser folds.
Even when he's not on the mound, he's showing he's got a good release.
If I say good fold, would you believe it?
I don't know.
Well, that's good, because you're not supposed to know.
Exactly.
Much like Don Cheadle, Oral Hershiser has made his name elsewhere, but proven himself quite formidable here at the poker table.
Oral Hershiser has knocked off a former heads-up champion in the round of 64. Oral Hershiser claims his second win in the tournament.
I've thrown pitches that maybe bring millions of dollars to a city, and I've never been this nervous.
One of the prohibitive underdogs at the beginning of the event is into the Elite Eight.
Since I've retired from baseball, my aspirations have been to be involved in the poker world and to be part of NBC Heads Up, the national championship for the last 3 years now, is just absolutely a dream come true.
What a year he had in 2008. Ali made it to the quarterfinals, defeated 2006 champ Ted Forrest, then Alan Cunningham, and then Freddie Deeb.
He was the epitome of a bracket buster that year.
10-8 for Annette. She limps in. Jack-9 for Oral. And after a little debate, he checks.
Good to be methodical.
Option checks.
Measure yourself. Stay composed.
Nothing on the flop for either player. Oral checks. Oberstad bets 1,000.
Annette undeterred by the check raise trauma she had a couple of hands ago. Still gonna try to pick up pots in position.
Oral raises to 3,000.
Wow. This is awesome. To see a guy like Oral Hershiser, who relative to Annette is an amateur, showing a willingness to gamble and check raise with air on the flop, impressive.
Now I get to say, good fold.
I'm getting kind of sick of folding, but it's not like I have anything.
500, 1,000.
So I can't do much. I don't think I flopped a pair yet. It's pretty sick.
Complete with the psychological game, hard at work, Oral is making moves.
In the desert heat of Las Vegas, it's hard to find the perfect spot to cool down. But here at Caesar's Palace, you can chill in luxury at the Garden of the Gods. 8 swimming pools spanning 5 acres, an 18-foot waterfall, and swim up blackjack if you want to bet while you're bathing. Complete with luxurious cabanas, plush daybeds, and classical statues and fountains. The Garden of the Gods is an iconic lounging oasis, making Caesar's Palace the coolest spot in the heat.
No time to lounge at the Garden of the Gods at the moment. Action continues between Oral Hershiser and Annette Oberstad at the feature table. Oberstad up by almost 10,000 in chips. Blinds now 500 and 1,000.
Leanne's got it good, man.
Doesn't she, though?
Get us on that program.
Annette, king, queen.
She's got it good as well.
She limps in. Oral with 10-9 suited.
I'm all in.
He goes all in.
Whoa! Easy, Tiger. What is Oral doing here? He's spending 14,000 more to do the job that maybe 3,000 or 4,000 might have accomplished. Risking his whole tournament life right now.
Oh, I wish I had a plan when I did that. That was stupid.
He's got Oberstad thinking.
She could take a shot at ending the match right here.
I call.
That's what she does. She calls.
All in and a call.
All in the call on our featured table.
That's harder than it looks, Craig, with King Queen offsuit.
10 of diamonds for Oral Hershiser.
9-10 against King Queen.
King of clubs,
Good hand.
20 diamonds.
I'm shocked at this play by Oral. This is what I would expect from a guy who thinks he has to get lucky to win, and I don't consider Hershiser that guy.
Here's the flop.
Neither player connects on the flop. Oberstad's king high still good.
So far for you. The ball's, I got to cut the ball about
So far.
7.8.
7 on the turn. Get a sweat. I mean, I'm not asking for it, but it could happen. It's made for TV, right?
Turns the 5 of spades. Hershiser still needs a 9 or 10.
There are no chops in the deck.
Nope, I'm afraid there isn't.
If Oral doesn't connect, this is going to be a serious sleep loss situation.
The lady pairs her lady and will advance.
Congratulations. Way to go.
Thanks, you played well.
Oral gracious in defeat.
Yeah.
It was very fun. You get the Z-ball.
Oh, awesome.
You have to give it to a boy.
And he honors tradition.
I'm keeping that myself.
Please.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good.
A classy gesture there from Hershiser. Now we peek in on Don Cheadle's match where he faces a slight deficit. Blinds at 6 and 1,200. Cheadle with Jack 9. Raises to 2,400.
Raise to 24.
Min raise. Stacks aren't very deep with the blinds where they are at this point.
Jack 7 suited for Kelly. He calls.
Dominated heading to the flop.
Cheadle flops a straight.
Gin.
Kelly pairs his 7 and checks.
He's got a gut shot straight draw as well for a chop.
That's 4,000.
Don bets 4,000.
All in.
Re-raise all in.
Call.
Kelly puts Cheadle all in and a snap call from Don.
You see that wince on the face of JP Kelly. Someone calls you that quick, you know you're cooked.
Jack 9 against Jack 7.
Good chop.
Here's the turn.
Cheadle had the crystal ball working. There's the chop.
What a gross card for him.
I tell you.
That's sick. That's disgusting. I played so bad.
It happens.
Don goes from doubling up and taking a commanding chip lead.
I don't work out with you really strong or really weak. It was one or the other. I knew it was one or the other.
Yeah.
To just chopping it up.
I knew it was one or the other.
Let's send it down to Leanne.
Oral, everybody knows you as a great baseball player. You've actually proven your poker chops over the years. Do you think you've developed your own style, or are you still getting coaching from some of the pros?
Oh, I'm definitely getting a lot of coaching still, and you try and vary your styles because this game, you get into a rut, they're going to know exactly what you're doing. And I knew I was behind the whole way as far as intelligence and ability in the whole match. So I was always going to look for a place where maybe I was 55-45 dog, but I could get a shot at least making her fold. And she didn't fold. She had the better hand. She's the better player.
Annette, have you ever seen a baseball game? I know, I asked her last night.
If I said no.
No, and you
I know
didn't
what baseball is, but I haven't watched the whole game.
And you
no.
didn't know who he was, did you?
No, I didn't.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
How did you beat him today?
Well, basically, I thought he played extremely well, and I felt like I was getting run over for most of the match. I wasn't getting any hands even, and then, you know, things kept going my way at the end, and I think I was just lucky to win.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. I always play these matches that just go on and on and on.
Cheadle now with a slight chip advantage.
Yeah, then we get it going.
Got to shake off the disappointment of that chop pot.
Kelly with pocket eights.
Serviceable.
He raises to 2,400. Cheadle with ace queen suited.
Come on.
He puts Kelly all in, and Kelly calls.
We got a call. Ace queen of clubs for Don Cheadle against 2 8s for JP Kelly.
Classic race.
That's my line.
Gonna come down to it.
Yep.
Either way, with the stacks as close as they are, this pot should decide the outcome of the match. Though it's JP Kelly who's all in and at risk.
Cheadle pairs his queen.
With a queen, Don Cheadle in the lead now. Queen 9 king. Here's the turn.
JP needs an 8.
Kelly picks up a flush draw.
Still leads.
Make that an 8 or a heart.
Kelly needs a heart or an 8. Here's the river.
That's a big card for him. Can he connect?
He doesn't. Cheadle advances.
All right, man. Take care. Yeah, well played. Thank you. Thanks.
It's an upset, but not as big a one as some might think.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Don Cheadle's a player. He gets some congratulations from his friend and coach, Annie Duke.
Man, my heart almost fell out. Flopped the joint, and he's like, I said we're gonna chop a 9 right on the turn.
It's no fluke. Don Cheadle advancing to round 2 for the 3rd time in 4 years, as the round of 64 in the hearts bracket is complete. Any big surprises for you in this part of the draw?
Yeah, pocket pairs not being able to hold up against 2 overcards, with the exception of Dennis Phillips's match. Parker, Kelly, and Lederer could have easily advanced if their hands held.